Hi everyone, he is Maria Carmo from the Maria Carmo channel, and today we're going to present one more proposal from Catalyst Fund3. I would like you to let your comments, your questions, I always ask to the guests come back and answer any doubts that you may have about the project. And also, if you are a proposal, please feel free to contact me and ask for a spot in the show. It would be a pleasure to host you. So guys, how are you today? Tell me about yourselves and the name of your project.
Hello, Maria. Thank you for having us. My name is Rich Kopshow, and I am a Cardano fan from long ago. I host the Wyoming Blockchain Stampede, and Charles and company are usually sponsors. And you might know that they funded the University of Wyoming a lab there. And so I have some deep connections with IOHK and Cardano, and I'm just happy to be able to present something on the project and give back to the community.
Thank you very much. It's very interesting. Thank you for your time to be here with me.
Mm-hmm. And we have Nuno, who's recently joined us.
Yeah, I'm a latecomer to this project, and really what happened is that I had my own project, and it's a use case really. It's very so I come from, I'm going to say this quickly as possible. I come from the arts. All my life I devoted all my life to the arts, fine arts, and I had this project for this specific thing that right at the end I was reading all the other projects, and I found this one. I think it's one of those situations that I would profit from something that would be more of an umbrella project that would help other people to get more easily into smart contracts and non-fungible tokens specifically. So that's it.
Thank you very much, Luno. I'm just gonna make a parenthesis here. Uno was saying that from the beginning, he wasn't in the proposal, and then he read the proposal, find out that he wants to be in the team, and then he team up with Rich. So it's happened all the time, guys. Sometimes you don't have all the spectrum of your project, but you can come around and ask to join proposals and projects. And if the project is open enough, they will let you in. So Rich, the stage is yours. Please show us your proposal.
Sure, and we are open and a community project, and what we're looking for is people who are interested in building together. So let me share what we're thinking about, and then we'd love to get any feedback, and anyone else who's interested in working with us, we're happy to have them. So here I am going to share my screen there, Maria. Let's see how good that works. Okay, here we are. We originally named the project Comprehensive NFT Framework or Collaboration, and we modified it a little bit to add the word framework. And as you know, we only have so many letters that we can use, so we shortened the collaboration to Collab. And really what it is we're thinking about a DAO structure where the whole community is inside of a somewhat of a DAO at Catalyst, and we see the need to maybe segment into even smaller segments. And there's been so much interest in NFTs that we felt like we have a lot of experience around the structures of DAOs, so why don't we help the overall community with the concepts of governance and DAO creation, autonomous cooperative organizations, so that we can help model those things, as well as hit the core of NFTs. Because with Gauguin, we're going to be able to do a lot around NFTs. So let's see. Okay, there. Let's go back. All right, here we go. So what we found from a problem perspective is there were 42 different proposals that were addressing NFTs. But nobody was thinking about how do we build one infrastructure that everybody in Cardano can build NFT on. And all these projects are really interesting in the sense that they bring different point solutions that are necessary in the market. But what they're not thinking about is how to build on top of the rails that Cardano is building. We need boxcars, and those boxcars need to be frameworks that you can then put business logic on top of. And that business logic could be the individual projects, like Noonan's project that he was interested in. Instead of him having to go build the boxcar, he could just build the business logic on top of this framework. So that's how we've been thinking about this. It's an overarching project, and we're hoping that it makes sense to people. We feel like instead of funding 42 different projects, and they all go off in their own little way, and none of that brain trust is shared with the community per se, that if we could open source one big project and have all of those people help, we could build we could build something that's just, you know, out of this world, something that that nobody really could catch up with. You know, Wax is pretty popular, but it's built, you know, as a project that that a couple of guys in their ecosystem benefit from. We want something that benefits everybody, sort of the open sea. And as some of the commenters have been saying, it's kind of like Shopify, where you got all this infrastructure, but anybody can build stores on top of it. So that's what we're trying to get done. And NFTs can be anything. If you're not familiar with NFTs, you know, they could be art, warranties, tokenizing real estate. So NFTs have a huge play coming up. We see it as a $1 trillion business in the near future, next 5 or 10 years. So we think that the Goguen asset tokenizer will be a strong player, and we want to make sure we take advantage of that. So that's the timing of this. Our deliverables are around some very specific things, unique multi-asset minting policies. We had one guy who wasn't in Catalyst, he was in the dev team making a proposal for some standards in the dev team Cardano infrastructures, not per se in Catalyst, but as we've read some of his stuff, he ended up joining us. So we're drawing developers with deep skills from all over the place. Interesting enough, Cardano itself has been built on Haskell and functional programming languages. And I like to think of that as the calculus of programming rather than the higher level mathematics or arithmetic. And so somebody reached out to me that had started coding in 1983, had 36 years or so of functional programming language, but you know, has been pretty much out of the you know, you won't find them on Facebook, you won't find them on any social media, right? Realizing that security issues and footprints are shared. So that guy joined us in the program. So we've got people that are coming to us from all corners of projects as well as from experiences. Troy in New Zealand was at his job, and he stepped out, and some guy was listening to the Cardano Polkadot podcast, and turns out that he has deep experience in banking. He's not really even in our infrastructure yet, or in our community yet. And so Troy overheard him listening to that and started talking to him about Cardano and about the project, and he joined us. So we're making some interesting connections, doing some of the things that Cardano wants to do, and which is the ocean, right? We want to get out of the ponds, and we're building islands, but we need to get these developers from the ocean into the projects. And so that stuff is happening with this project. So we're pretty excited about what we're doing. Our backgrounds also are around governance and collaboration frameworks. Me particularly, I spent 10 years teaching Hellenics to Hellenic architectures to manufacturers. So we truly do understand DAO structures and governance at a level that is very, very simple to execute. The modern DAO is really an extension of Arthur Kessler's in The Ghost in the Machine, where he was postulating, and he coined the term holon, which is an autonomous cooperative entity. So what are we going to do? We're forming this DAO. We're going to figure out what it all takes. Everybody is welcome. We're going to do asset tokenization at large. And our first target really is attracting people who are familiar with Cardano and want to build NFTs. So we're doing outreach to these 42 different projects to see how many of them are interested in sharing. A lot of them, want to do stuff that is open source, and some of them want to do, some stuff that's unique to themselves, which is perfectly fine, as long as everybody wants to help build the rail cars. We're there. I'm not going to go into too much more about this. You can find this at this presentation on our proposal. But we think that the growth is significant, and that the timing is right, not just for the market itself, but for the things that are happening inside of Cardano. So working together is really our goal, and we want to bring everybody into the project that's interested. There's a place in a DAO for everybody, just like there is in Catalyst. So our business model, of course, we have a lot of different ways that NFTs are coming to market, and we will definitely, along the path, follow some of those business models or even create new ones. And we're interested in hearing from you, what are some of those opportunities that exist? And so we'll build that stuff into the requirements. Here's the team. Finley is from engineering. Finley is actually working in the Warbo lab at UW, University of Wyoming. So he sits right in the IOHK lab, working there. Troy is in research in New Zealand. Me, I'm just a guy who builds businesses. Tyler is a product guy over in Portland, Oregon. And that was the original founding team. But since then, we've added about 5 other people, and Nonan is one of them, right? People that are being attracted to the program.
Do you mind walk me through a little bit about Finlay, because somebody else in the community wants to know more about him, because he won a hackathon. Would you have a few words about it?
Yeah, sure. So the Wyoming Hackathon I'm the executive producer of the Wyoming Hackathon from day one. So we've done one in 2018, 2019, 2020. So we've done 3 of them, and we're planning 2021. The first hackathon that Cardano put challenges in, Finley has a brother, and him and his brother won that. They're both UW students getting their PhDs, and those guys won that one, which was the first time that they got on my radar that they were special. And then the next year they won the other one. Their code base, people have been looking at some of the guys that have come to our project. We're looking at Finley's code base on Git we're very impressed, and are hoping to learn Marlowe skills and so forth from Finley. What was the question that people had about him?
No, just a little bit about his background of winning the hackathon and stuff. Thank you very much for answering.
Yep. Yeah. We've kept the hackathon as an also as open, right? And in 2019, I put up $10,000 for interoperability, because I feel like interoperability is the big thing that needs to be solved with blockchains. We can't have silos. We need to have an open architecture, which is really what I love about what Charles is doing with IOHK, and allowing different the multi-asset thing to happen and so forth. It's pretty exciting times, and I'm for any project that allows for open sourcing things. I actually had a dev team back in the early 2000s, around 2006 and 7. We open sourced a project called Restore, and we pitched it to Mark Shuttleworth at Ubuntu. If you remember who Mark is, he's the guy that took $20 million and got in the shuttle and rode around the earth. And when he was up in the shuttle, he thought of Ubuntu. So we pitched him Restore. Restore was going to be inside of Ubuntu as the main backup solution. We ended up not going through with that, and open sourced it to the community. In its first 10 days, we had 60,000 downloads. So it was a pretty popular project back then. I don't know what the community's done with it since. So open source is something we're interested in making sure that we build into the project, and we plan on bringing things to the market through the next several funds as well. So yeah, ask me questions. I don't want to bore you with anything more. Can't hear you, Maria.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It's really cool. You're very ambitious, aren't you? You got the biggest and smartest guys in town.
Well, what I find interesting is if you really give back, and that's been my ethos for many years. I've been a startup guy since the beginning of technologies back in the early 80s, working on thin film deposition for computer chips when computers were just starting, right? And so I've been on technology projects my whole life, and what I have found is that if you are inclusive and you build something that people are interested in, they're attracted to it, and they want to work with it, and they want to support it. And so that's what we're hoping, that we're on par with what the community wants. If not, we're also flexible and willing to course correct to make sure that it is. And we see that I've retired 3 or 4 times already, so for me it's not about the funding. The funding's not going to pay my rent. It's more about building something that's sustainable. Right. And so the funding that we're asking for, really, we haven't 100% allocated it, because what we want to do is make sure that we bring the right people in, and then by the meritocracy, by the ability of them to contribute, have the DAO be responsible for making sure that the right contributors get rewarded for their contributions.
It's a very interesting concept. I would like to ask a few questions, if you don't mind. I have been asked members of the community to read your proposal, and I got a few questions. Is that okay?
Sure, yeah.
So someone said somewhere in your proposal, you kind of mentioned wax, and I would like to know what is similarities or difference from the two projects, from what you are trying to do and what they are doing?
Yeah, the reason wax is mentioned is because it is very, very easy to spin up an NFT on wax. And that from that perspective, that's what we'd like to see the end result of the project be. Not necessarily that it emulates wax, but that it has the ease of use. Somebody can come up with an idea. Noonan could take one of his art projects today, and he could go to wax, and within a few hours, he could have an NFT on the market. And that's what we want to accomplish, and that's the connection to wax, only from that. You know, somebody also mentioned Shopify, and we think that's a good model too, right? Shopify pretty much dominates the e-commerce space. Why? Because they built the infrastructure that meets the requirements of everybody who wants to have a shop. That's what we want to do. We want to build the requirements out that anybody who has this kind of shop or that kind of shop, or an insurance NFT or a real estate NFT or an art NFT, or anything that's possible, that the infrastructure is there and they just need to build business logic on top of it.
Very, very interesting. Do you have any partnership, like you at the moment, apart from the members that are showing up from everywhere, do you have another company or people that you're going to partner with to bring this, to bring to the challenge?
Yeah, so I run a venture studio in Laramie, Wyoming. Actually, it's on campus at the University of Wyoming. We're inside of the technology center there, and we bring in students all the time through internships. So the kids that are learning computer science, who are interested in working in the Warble lab, the IOHK lab that's there, some of those guys come through as interns. As a matter of fact, one of our interns from last semester has just been brought into IOHK to be an intern with them in this next semester. So we've got a tight relationship with the university, with the students there, and we definitely can, you know, we could literally go fund this ourselves if we want to, and literally I will if it doesn't come around through the community, right? Because this is so needed in the market. And we're not shy about saying that we will find a way to make it happen. And
It's a big commitment, you saying that you're going to go ahead anyway because you believe in our community. People will be asking for that later on, remember?
not a problem. We've already got it on a private roadmap as well, because we have an interest in the NFT market. I want to put some businesses on top of it, right? But it's not there, right? So if it's there, then we can do it. And I think not just us, but everybody in the community. There's a huge, over 20, almost 23% of the proposals were on NFTs. 23%. That's almost a quarter of all the proposals in Fund 3 were about NFTs.
I know, I have to say, we really, really need it, you know. But I'm happy that you dare to be here in Catalyst with us. You know, I'm a Catalyst girl, and I think it's very brave to dare to dream. I think I read in your presentation that you were the dreamer. You put something else there, but I just translate as a dreamer. And when we dream, we build things together. So it's very nice to have you here, guys. Would you like to have any other consideration? Would you like to say thank you to anyone in the community, or someone say hello to someone that you would like to be here with you in that project?
Yeah, unfortunately, Troy and Tyler couldn't be with us today, but actually both of those guys came from me writing the proposal. When I wrote the proposal, Tyler had his own project around, it was Synodao, and he read my proposal and we started talking, and he joined right away because he realized that not all of these proposals are going to get funded, but we'd have a better chance if we work together. Troy, the same way, he made some comments on, or Tyler, or yeah, Troy, he made some comments on my proposal early, and I said, hey, join us, and he did. And so we're getting that kind of a draw, and I think it really comes down to style and culture, right? We will have the culture. My ethos has always been inclusive, and so it's very easy to let other people shine and to bring them into a project and let them take ownership of things, and that's what we want to do. So Troy and Tyler, we missed you today, but
Hi, Nuno, would you like to say something, some considerations before we finish?
Yeah, I don't have much to add. Just these that if you go about NFTs, if you go to Ethereum improvement proposals on GitHub, and if you insert NFTs in the issues, you will see all the list, an incredible list of standards for NFTs, and I think this is what this project could. So each use case has its own requirements. So if you go to for instance, rareable, super rare in the arts. If you go to super rare, if you go to mecenas, if you go to there are a bunch of them in the arts, and not only in the digital arts, in the arts as a whole. But you could go to the tourism business. Rich already said a bunch of use cases, but if you can make it easier for all these people that instead of each and everyone to try to push its own standard, if you can get it easier, I think this project can add that. So, and I only wanted to say that.
Brilliant, thank you very much, Nuno. Guys, we are ending here this episode. And again, if you're a proposer, reach me out to make your video here in the channel. And if you are gonna be voting or gonna be analyzing proposal, please let the questions in the comments, because the team will come back around a few times to reach you out. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.